Us on that stage right outside. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Green Bay, and we are thrilled to have you with us. I'm Mike Greenberg. That's Louis Riddick. That's Booger McFarland. That's the man who invented the draft, Mel Kiper Jr. Adam Schefter is out with us as well tonight, and you'll hear from him momentarily. And Mel, I'll start with you. We have been talking about this on our podcast, the First Draft Podcast, going all the way back to September. So many questions. What is the one you are most looking forward to hearing the answer to in the next few hours tonight?
Or Sanders. He's really the talk of the draft. He's my number one quarterback. He was outstanding for 2 years at Colorado without getting a lot of help. Couldn't run the football, couldn't protect him, yet he was accurate. He held up from a durability standpoint. He did it with NFL conditions around him. I love Shedeur. Perfect fit. Perfect fit is the New Orleans Saints at pick number 9. Because it's that 2 and 3, you're getting the best players in the draft. Then Travis Hunter, Cleveland, maybe Abdul Carter, Giants. But at 9, fifth best player on the board, quarterback they need, division with the number 1 pick overall Price, number 1 pick overall Baker, Michael Penix Jr. In the dome, Shedeur would be ideal, perfect for the New Orleans Saints.
So many edge rushers. After Abdul Carter, who's going to be the next edge rusher off the board? I think the edge rushers dominate the draft tonight.
The emergence of the conversation surrounding big play running backs. Ashton Denty, he personifies big play running backs. With Saquon Barkley, he's got the conversation around running backs going again. Where does Ashton go tonight?
Maybe in the top 5. There's been a lot of speculation about that. Well, there is a unique tradition of riding bicycles in the city of Green Bay. Kids used to bring their bikes over and allow the players to ride them to training camp. That tradition that goes back about a half a century in Green Bay. And a little birdie whispered in my ear, we may see that tradition reenacted tonight. As the commissioner makes his way to the stage, I see some bicycles out here in the crowd as the commissioner gets set to come out and welcome everyone here to the draft. And there he is. There's Roger Goodell. It is a tradition unlike any other, if I may borrow the phrase from our friends at CBS. Roger Goodell riding his bicycle out onto the stage to the usual chorus of enthusiastic booing from all of the fans. And there are so many others, as you see, bringing out some of the Packer legends. And I think I recognize that fellow in the back there. Packer super fan Lil Wayne is here on a bicycle. Roger Goodell will open the proceedings for us here. Here's the commissioner.
Okay. Come on. Okay, welcome to the 2025 NFL Draft in Green Bay, Wisconsin. People said that Green Bay was too small for this, with a population of 107,000. But we have over 125,000 people here and still counting. Obviously, Green Bay may be small, but it's mighty. Thank you all for welcoming us here tonight, and hope you have a great few days. Over the next 3 days, we will welcome in the next generation of stars into the NFL and bring hope to every NFL team, and we may have a few surprises for you tonight. But first, let's hear from some of your Packer greats. Please welcome Clay Matthews, Jordy Nelson, Mason Crosby, Amon Green, James Jones, and Packers superfan, Lil Wayne.
I'm going to go off script here real quick, Roger, but I just got off the phone with the President, Donald Trump. He asked me to pass a message along to all 32 NFL franchises. So let me tell you what it reads here, all right? It says, my fellow Americans, the Bears still suck! Let's go! Go Pack! I'm sorry, Roger, I'm sorry.
Okay, Green Bay. It's time to get the show started. Are you ready? The 2025 NFL Draft is now officially open. The Tennessee Titans are on the clock.
And so those are the words we've been waiting since February to hear. The draft is open, the Titans are on the clock, and here are some of the options that they have. Certainly the overwhelming expectation is that they will take Cam Ward, the quarterback out of Miami, but Travis Hunter is available and expected to hear his name called early tonight. The two-way superstar Abdul Carter, the pass rusher extraordinaire out of Penn State, wearing the legendary number of Micah Parsons. Will he be that level of good on the next level? The two quarterbacks, Cam Ward, again, we expect him to go number one tonight. Is it the right decision? We'll talk about it. Shedeur Sanders, will he hear his name called tonight at all? That's one of the big questions we've been discussing for weeks on the talk shows leading up to this night. The man who has almost all of the answers, almost all of the time, is our Adam Schefter, and he's with us all evening long. Shefty, what does everyone need to know as we get underway?
Well, thanks, Greeny. The Cleveland Browns, New York Giants, and New Orleans Saints all inquired about the availability of Cam Ward to the Titans. All were denied, despite the fact that the New York Giants offered their first-round pick this and next year, along with other picks. The Titans were sold on Cam Ward's workout. Their new general manager, Mike Borgonzi, came from the Chiefs, where he worked with Patrick Mahomes. And Cam Ward's instincts, the way he sees and feels the field, reminded him and them of Patrick Mahomes. And so now they are poised to make Cam Ward the fourth number one overall pick to work under Titans head coach Brian Callahan, joining Peyton Manning, Matthew Stafford, Joe Burrow, and Cam Ward right there, Greeny.
All right, Shefty, thank you very much. So, Mel Kiper Jr., you and I have been talking about this on our podcast, the First Draft podcast, going back to September. Shedeur Sanders was your number one quarterback on the board then. He has remained that way throughout. Do you believe the Titans are making the right call tonight, taking Cam Ward number one?
Cam Ward, I get it. The arm talent is undeniable. I understand that. He can be creative. He can escape. He can do things that Shedeur can't do. But if Shedeur gets an offensive line in front of him, the exact same thing I said about Tom Brady when he came out as a sixth-round pick after Giovanni Carmazzi from Hofstra went in the third round because he was more athletic and more talented physically, athletically. Saw what happened there. When you look at Shedeur Sanders, everything you want an NFL quarterback to be, he has. Toughness in the pocket, unflappable. Final 2 minutes of a game. Look at the precise, accurate passing. Short, intermediate, deep. He does all that. He was sacked a lot, right? So he's got to get the ball out a tick faster. He didn't have any help. The offensive line, blown block after blown block. You know, Olay block after Olay block. He had no chance. He had to try to make plays, and he did. Guess what? Completion was kind of through the roof. Not many balls hit the ground. When he needed to come through for this team, he did. This notion that he's not that athletic is ridiculous nonsense. He can move, he can roll right, roll left, third and 8, he can get you a first down with his legs. This kid has what the NFL wants. Talk about conditions in the NFL. Muddy pocket, right? Pressure all the time. No running game. His leading rusher over the 2 years of Colorado averaged 350 yards for the season. That's it. That's Ashton Jeanty and Amarian Hampton in a game and a half. Are you kidding me? No running game, no offensive line to put up the numbers he did. He, to me, deserved to be. And I think I understand Cam Ward. You want a 6'3", 230-pounder? You want a guy with a rocket arm? You want a guy with 4.6 speed? It's not Shedeur Sanders. Cam Ward, stronger arm, more talent. I get it. But I'm telling you, Shedeur Sanders, old school, pocket, you can win big in this league. It's been proven time and time again.
But the two things that everyone points to when you're talking about quarterback play, the two things that everyone wants is great decision making and accuracy throwing the football. And I know, Booger, you're going to talk about these two things. And it's the two things that Shedeur Sanders has built his career on. And yet we continue to try and knock this young man down for things that really people don't hang their hat on. He has plenty of horsepower in his arm. He has plenty of mobility, as you mentioned. I don't understand it either, but I'll tell you this. I believe the Tennessee Titans are making the right pick with Cam Ward because he does all the things that Shedeur can do, and he does have special horsepower. And look, this comparison right here, the style of play, it is like Patrick Mahomes in terms of the creativity and the ability to buy time in the pocket and do things that are unconventional that may have you screaming at home when you're watching on the TV screen, but then it turns out to be big plays. Patrick Mahomes has made a living doing this. Yes, he's with one of the greatest coaches of all time, and Andy Reid, who has found a way to harness it. But that's what Brian Callahan's going to have to do for Cam Ward. Harness it. Make sure he does it judiciously. Off-platform throws. Just look at this. Buy time in the pocket, escape out to the left, and then throw it like you're throwing the first base. It's just like Derek Jeter playing for the New York Yankees. But he puts it on a rope and puts it right where it needs to be put. Patrick has done this time and time again in the NFL. Now, I understand Patrick's done in the NFL. Cam Ward hasn't played a snap. This is just a comparison, and you'd be hard-pressed to tell me that you don't see the same thing that Mike Borgonzi saw, that we're showing on this screen, and this is why Cam Ward's the #1 overall pick.
All right, Booger, so settle the tie here. I've got one vote for Shedeur. I've got one vote for Cam Ward. If it was your team, who would you select?
Greeny, for me, it would be Shedeur Sanders. And we've become enamored so much by the wild plays, so much by the off-platform throws. But Greeny, we don't take the simple. We don't like the simple sport. Look at what Shedeur Sanders does. He plays the football like an old school tradition at the quarterback spot. He stands back there in the pocket and he throws the football with accuracy. And it may not be the most special thing you've seen, but it's the prerequisite for the position. Completing the football with accuracy, with timing, great decision, poise. He does all the things that you need to do. Quarterbacks to do.
All right, so the pick is in, and again, we expect it to be Cam Ward, though we've not been officially told that as of yet, and then perhaps the fireworks begin after that. So Cam Ward, a young man who began his career at the University of the Incarnate Word, spent 2 seasons there, then went to Washington State, then made the decision to come out into last year's draft, changed his mind, instead transferred to the U, and look at him now, perhaps about to hear his name called as the first pick in the 2025 National Football League draft. You heard Lewis make the comparison to Patrick Mahomes. That's what everyone in the NFL is looking for. A young man with that sort of talent, those sorts of traits. The Tennessee Titans need a quarterback badly. The commissioner, I'm told, is making his way to the stage to make the announcement of the first pick in this 2025 National Football League draft. There he is. We see him. Here comes the commissioner. The pick is in. #1.
Come on. With the first pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans select Cameron Ward, quarterback, Miami.
As we said, he made the right call a year ago, going back to school, finished 4th in the Heisman voting in his 1 season at the U. Started 57 games in college, and I am being told as he makes his way to the stage, we will watch Cam Ward make his way to the stage, but I'm being told we have major breaking news. Adam Schefter, what do we have?
All right, Greeny, we have the first trade of round 1. The Cleveland Browns have traded out of the 2nd overall pick. They're moving back to #5 to the Jacksonville Jaguars spot. In return, the Browns will get the #5 overall pick, a 2nd-round pick, number 36, a 4th-round pick, number 126, and the 1st-round pick of the Jaguars in 2026. The Jaguars, in turn, get the #2 pick, a 4th-round pick, and a 6th-round pick. The Jaguars are on the clock. The youngest general manager in the NFL, James Gladstone, at the age of 34, new regime in Jacksonville, is taking a huge swing at the 2nd pick and they are targeting Travis Hunter.
All right, that is a remarkable development immediately here. And so as you see Cam Ward having his moment with the commissioner, this is something that we knew would happen. We did not know we would have a trade as early as number 2. Mel, Jacksonville giving up a lot to move up here. Is Travis Hunter, if indeed that is the player, is he worth all that they apparently are giving in return?
Think about Jacksonville right now. Liam Cohen, right? Head coach. He wants offense. There's no question. Help out Trevor Lawrence, right? What can Travis Hunter do? He can bring you juice to an offense. He can be a playmaker. He can be a touchdown maker. They need help at corner. That's a neat area for the Jaguars. He can be strategically worked in at cornerback late in the first half, late in games. These games are decided in the fourth quarter. Travis Hunter, the Jacksonville Jaguars, all about Trevor, all about the cornerback spot, 2 for the price of 1. Travis Hunter is, in my opinion, the best player in this draft. I don't think, when you think about what he can do, I understand it's tough in the NFL to play both ways. It's going to be very difficult. He may not be able to do it more than a year or 2. But I think you can always work him in on the other side of the ball. He's going to be offense with Trevor, and then on defense with the cornerback spot being the neat area, he'll figure it out. He has not had the benefit in college up until this point of being able to just focus on one position. So how can you be great at one spot when you're playing both ways? You're out there all the time. Yet he was. He's special, and for Jacksonville to give up what they did, it tells you they believed he was the number 1 player in this draft, and they needed him on both sides of the ball.
And Greeny, we're talking about a unicorn, something we've never seen before. And for them to give this up, they believe he's that. And for all this talk about can he play both sides in the NFL, think about this. The NFL game is slower. College football is a lot faster, and he did it in college football. So how come he couldn't do it in the NFL when the game is slower? There are fewer plays. We're going to major you on offense, and we'll let you play certain coverages on defense. I think he can do it. And if Jacksonville is indeed taking Travis Hunter, Liam Cohen, an offensive guy, you can best believe he's going to use him on offense to the fullest extent.
Sure. Like, I don't think you want to play him 120 snaps a game. Okay, I don't think that's what I think it's got to be. Something like 60-40, 75-25, something like that in terms of breaking it up. Look, Deion did tell me, Deion Sanders, when I went out to Colorado, that he would start him on the offensive side of the ball when they break out of their initial first-team meeting with whatever team he goes to. He needs to learn the nuance and intricacies of that side of the football. He thinks he can step on the field immediately and contribute on defense. You'd be hard-pressed to find anybody up here to say anything different. So, look, Mel put it perfect. You're getting 2 for 1 with this guy. You're getting 2 players in one.
Yeah.
Absolutely, you move up to get that kind of player.
Let's make sure everyone can see exactly what it is that the Jaguars have given up here. It is a significant trade. Again, Shefty told us about an hour ago to expect quite a few explosive trades early, and we get it here. And look at all that Jacksonville is giving up here. The 5th pick this year, a 2nd and a 4th, and next year's first-round pick. I'm curious to hear from you, Louis Riddick, as a team builder. Andrew Barry, the general manager of Cleveland, referred to Travis Hunter and compared him to Shohei Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani has revolutionized baseball as we know it. How do you feel about the Browns trading away the opportunity to select him here?
Look, they received the haul, though, Green. I mean, look at that on your screen right there. You know, you have 2nd and 4th round picks this year, a 1st round pick next year. I mean, that's big time. And he needs to now maximize all those extra picks. But Jacksonville, man, they may be getting special players.
Back to Shefty.
Here's what we got, Greeny. These two sides have been working on this trade for 2 weeks, and it changes the shape of this draft and Cleveland's approach to quarterback, because the Browns now have 2 second-round picks at the top of this draft, and they also have 2 ones next year in what's expected to be a more quarterback-rich draft. So they could opt for quarterback here tonight or tomorrow, or opt for 2026, but they have options. And the Jacksonville Jaguars instead have what they believe will be the best player in the draft. They're moving up to get that type of player. A huge swing from both teams, but both sides believe it's worth it.
So there's Travis Hunter there awaiting the call that we will expect to be hearing momentarily here from Jacksonville. Booger, your thoughts on Travis Hunter now, it would appear, headed to Jacksonville after all this time. We assumed he'd be going to Cleveland.
Oh, Greeny, I love it. I think he's the best weapon in the draft. And he's a unicorn, something that we have not seen. You have to maximize this, though. If you're Jacksonville and you're going to take Travis Hunter, you have to maximize him on offense. And this is about helping Trevor Lawrence, who's underachieved so far in Jacksonville. You have to surround your quarterback with weapons. This is the ultimate weapon, the best wide receiver in the draft, maybe the best cornerback also.
Man, the only thing I'll say is, look, defensively, they were hard on defense. In terms of yards, giving up yards for explosive plays. Look, if ever an organization needed a two-way player that fit perfectly right into what their needs are, this is the young man for you.
This is the new National Football League. This is a league where we did not used to see this sort of wheeling and dealing. This is becoming much more commonplace. Young general managers in place, as was pointed out by Adam Schefter moments ago, and one of the youngest and the newest in the NFL making a dramatic move here. The pick is in. The Jaguars expected to make it here any moment here. We'll hear from Roger Goodell on what direction it is they've chosen to go. Huge trade being made immediately, and the commissioner making his way to announce the trade to this crowd and the second pick in this year's draft.
While we are here tonight to celebrate the 32 young men entering the NFL, I'm honored to take a moment to recognize a player who's made a profound impact on and off the field. The Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award, presented by Nationwide, recognizes one player each year who best represents greatness and compassion both on and off the field and in the community. Tonight, we are proudly joined by the 2024 Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year, Eric Armstead.
First off, Duval! Yay! Let's go! Let's go! I want to say thank you to the commissioner, thank you to the Payton family and the NFL and Nationwide, and also tonight I want to encourage each player embarking on the NFL journey to identify a passion close to their heart and act upon it. Use your platform to make your community, the league, and this world a better place. As we remember Walter Payton, strive to leave a positive legacy of your own. Thank you. We have a trade. The Cleveland Browns have traded the second pick to the Jacksonville Jaguars. And with the second pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Travis Hunter, wide receiver, defensive back from Colorado.
That's right. They get two for the price of one. Star on both sides of the ball, but making history is nothing new for this Heisman winner. He was widely considered the best player in the country coming out of high school in Georgia. Chose to play for Coach Prime at Jackson State, making him the first five-star recruit ever to play at an HBCU. And then last year at Colorado, he became the first player ever to win the Biletnikoff Award as the nation's top receiver and the Bednarik Award as the best defensive player in the country. And now he is the second pick in the National Football League draft. Mel headed to Jacksonville.
What Brian Thomas Jr. and Brenton Strange, former second-round pick out of Penn State, that Liam Cohen and Trevor Lawrence seem to really like. Now you got a guy like Travis Hunter on the offensive side of the ball, which he was dynamic at Colorado. Talking about the ball skills. How about the football IQ? How about the work ethic? How about counting players on the field, guys, during a game when he's out there playing on both sides just about every play? He's worrying about how many players were on the field. That's the underrated part of Travis Hunter, his passion for the game, his knowledge of the game, that football IQ.
There are a lot of great players who have played in the National Football League, all right? A lot of great pass catchers in particular who have fantastic ball skills. I was fortunate enough to play in an era where a lot of them really made their name. But this guy right here, I'm telling you this, when I was out there at his pro day and he was catching the football and running routes, one, the ball never touched the ground, and two, he didn't have gloves on, and you couldn't hear the ball hitting his hands. Some of the most natural hand-eye coordination and ball tracking I've ever seen in my life, and I've seen some great players. This guy truly is, as Deion likes to put it, he's him. He's different now. He's different, and that's why Jacksonville went ahead and did what they did, because they said, look, he's too good to pass up. Mel coined it perfectly. I said it just a minute ago. He's 2 for 1. That's what you're getting, and you'd be foolish not to utilize him as such.
And when you're getting 2 for 1, I think it's important to talk about the stamina. Guys, it's hard playing football on one side of the football. Lewis, you know, you and I play defense. It's hard to play defense. And then to go sit on the bench and pop right back up and get back up and play offense. I don't think America understands the stamina that this young man has and how hard he works in the offseason to prepare himself. This is truly something, Greeny. I've been around this game a long time. I've never seen anything like this.
It's a reasonable question to ask how much he can play on both sides of the ball. We understand that he can play one side and dabble on the other, but realistically, as brilliant an athlete as he is, and I sell him short in no regard, he's as good as we've seen in a long time. Can he realistically play full-time on both sides of the ball?
No, you're not going to play him 120. Again, you're not going to play him 120, 130 snaps a game for 17 games and expect him to last a decade or longer. It's just not going to happen. You have to be judicious with it. Again, I just said it has to be a 60-40, 75-25, 70-30 type of split. The question is, where do they use him first? Is it primarily offense or defense?
All right, Molly McGrath is standing by, and she's got the number 2 pick in the draft. Verizon Business takes us down to the stage. Molly.
Thank you, Greeny. Travis, Jacksonville traded up to get you. What's your reaction to how all of that unfolded?
I mean, they ain't talking to me since the combine, so I'm super excited to be able to go back home and be able to play for an organization that thought I was worthy of trading up and getting.
What kind of conversations did you have with the Jag staff about where they see you playing for them?
I mean, they told me they was going to let me go out there and do what I do, so they put me on phone with both coordinators, so I'm going to just go out there and just do what I can do.
Travis Hunter, a history maker, the first player in the draft era to be announced at both positions, receiver and defensive back. Congratulations.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Greeny.
You mentioned that he's going home, Molly. His hometown in Georgia is about 374 miles from Jacksonville. And we talk about the history that he is making. Well, we are in the shadow of Lambeau Field, the legendary Green Bay Packers. Don Hutson is the only player in NFL history to catch 400 passes and make at least 10 interceptions. He did all of that without wearing shoulder pads, by the way. Will Travis Hunter be the first ever to do it with shoulder pads? The last player to play consistently on both sides of the ball was his coach, Deion Sanders. Primetime, 1996 with the Cowboys. He made 8 starts on both offense and on defense. Obviously one of the great players of all time. We'll see if his protege is able to follow in his footsteps. So, fireworks early here tonight. Jacksonville making the trade, moving up to number 2. I'm told the pick is in now at number 3. So the New York Giants, who've been waiting all off-season long to see what direction this team would go. For so long, we expected to go in the direction of quarterback, and then that conversation seemed to have ceased. Perhaps they'll target a quarterback later in the night. There's the Giants' draft room. John Mara looking for results quickly here after a very disappointing season. The commissioner is making his way to the stage after Cam Ward went number 1 and Travis Hunter went number 2. It's time to find out who's going number 3.
With the 3rd pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select Abdul Carter, defensive end, Penn State.
So that one goes as expected. Unanimous All-American Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. 23.5 tackles for loss by a wide margin, the most in the country. Finished with 23 sacks in 3 years in State College. And Mel was all over the field in that semifinal loss to Notre Dame, which proved to be his final game as a
You think about Abdul Carter, you think about what he was as an off-ball linebacker for 2 years. He had 17 tackles for loss and 11 sacks over a 2-year period. They unleash him off the edge this past year. He goes to 24 tackles for loss. Talking about more than over a 2-year period, 24, 12 sacks as opposed to 11 over a 2-year period, double the number. So the bottom line is, when you put him off the edge, you can play him off ball, he can steal the edge, play the run, plays the end with passion. They dropped him into coverage, did a really good job there. The bend, the wide variety of moves that this young man had, I thought he was exceptional. The foot injury kind of clouded the issue a bit. Surgery, no surgery, that thought maybe would push him that quick, but it did not. The New York Giants have 2 edge rushers. Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns. Will they play him off ball? Will he be in that rotation with those guys? Bottom line is you're getting a guy off the edge this year when he was finally like Micah Parsons. We saw what he could do when he was unleashed And just like Parsons, this kid resembles that type of player. That's Abdul Carter.
And when you think about what a team in their division in Philadelphia did with that defensive line and the way they dominated Kansas City in the Super Bowl and the way they were so stacked on the defensive line, it's no wonder New York sees the same thing with Carter and Burns and Dexter Lawrence in the middle. But they can absolutely dominate you and go from inside. And so I think he's the best edge guy in the draft. The elite first step quickness, the ability to bend, the ability to turn the corner. His first step is the best that I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, look, Von Miller says it all the time, right? And Boog, you know this. He plays some of the best pass rushers of all time down there in Tampa with guys like Simeon Wright. This guy can get off the rock. And here's the thing that impresses me the most about him. He flat out plays hard. When you talk about competitive character, for 60 minutes, this dude is hunting the quarterback. He asked the Penn State coaches prior to the 24 season to put him at defensive end. He asked for the switch. They were wondering how he was going to handle when they put him in a 6 technique, right?
Yeah.
Head up over the tight end. When tackles started coming down on him and double teaming him, whether or not he was going to be able to withstand it and come back again and again and again. He continues to get better at it. But I'll tell you this, when it's third down, he's got speed to power. He's got high side speed. He's got an inside spin. He's got it all. Incredible, incredible player.
He wears the same uniform number that Micah Parsons did. Will he follow in those footsteps as far as effectiveness in the NFL? Verizon Business takes us down to Molly, who is standing by with the third pick of the draft. Molly.
Thank you, Greeny. Abdul, your dad trained you your entire childhood. What was that moment like after your name was called with your dad and the rest of your family?
Yeah, it was surreal. I wouldn't be here without him. I'm just blessed, thankful for my family, thankful for everybody who helped me get to this moment. I can't wait to celebrate this moment with my family.
You grew up in Philly. You grew up an Eagles fan. How are you going to bring the Giants back to dominance in the NFC East?
Yeah, I'm all New York. New York getting everything from me. All the passion that I have, all the love that I have, all the excitement. On third down, they're going to get loud. I'm going to get that big play, make my best pass rush, make that big explosive play.
All right, congratulations, Abdul.
Thank you.
Greeny.
All right, Molly, thank you. Abdul Carter is the third defensive player selected in the top 3 overall by the Giants in the common draft era. The others, Lawrence Taylor and Carl Banks. So Travis Hunter is off the board. How about his college teammate, Shedeur Sanders, waiting to hear his name called as round 1 of the NFL draft continues from Green Bay on ESPN.
The 2025 NFL Draft is presented by Courtyard by Marriott, the official hotel of the NFL.
Being Courtyard's official fan ambassador has opened a new world for me. Now I get to hang out with NFL fans all season long. Butterfly.
Wait, what?
Yeah. See you on game day.
Today, my boy becomes one of us! You all need to see this. We don't have to kill them.
What is he doing?
I won't hurt you. I'm not one of them. You ready? Everything we know about dragons is wrong.
How to Train Your Dragon.
Come on!
Rated PG in theaters June 13th.
What's better than a limited time deal? An unlimited time deal. That's why the $5 Biggie Bag with a Junior Bacon Cheeseburger is available all the time. Because the best time for fresh, never frozen beef and Applewood smoked bacon is all the time. Duh. For the best deal of all time, gotta be Wendy's.
Lowe's knows it's easier to make the right calls when you have the right team. McCaffrey with a tough call.
You can't go wrong.
This is a big call, Christian. Big call, biggest call of your life. Wood or tile finish? Which one you gonna do? This could make or break the whole kitchen. Call a timeout, Christian.
London Sky.
You sure?
He's sure.
Get the man some London Sky.
And a decisive win with the Lowe's app. In-store, online, our Lowe's team has you covered.
If you look after the Hurricanes, they will look after you.
This put the entire family in the crosshairs.
World Order.
Mobland, new series now streaming on Paramount Plus.
Hey, you know you're not actually allowed to drink in a beer commercial?
Since when?
You gotta wait till it's done. Oh.
5,
4, 3, 2, 1.
Turn the off-season on again with the NFL app, your home for all things NFL. Get the news, the highlights, and more access with a subscription to NFL Plus for the picks, the moves, the plays, all in one place, all year long. Welcome home.
Welcome back to Green Bay. Time now for a draft moment powered by Shopify. Let's look at what's happened so far tonight. Top 3 picks of this year's NFL draft. Number 1 went exactly as we expected. Cam Ward, drafted by Tennessee. Number 2, all heck broke loose immediately. Jacksonville trading up from number 5 to number 2 with the Browns and taking Travis Hunter, the sensational two-way star out of Colorado. Number 3, the New York Giants. Quarterback needy, but deciding to go after the quarterback Hunter. Abdul Carter, the defensive end from Penn State, is the pick until the New England Patriots on the board, and their pick is in. The commissioner is making his way to the stage to announce the Patriots pick here with their new coach, Mike Vrabel. Which side of the ball does he look to go on and build around their young quarterback, Drake May? Here's the commissioner with the Patriots pick.
With the 4th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New England Patriots select Will Campbell, tackle, LSU.
Here's a young man who has been a star for a long time. Came out of Monroe, Louisiana, as the highest-rated offensive lineman that state had produced in 7 years. Was a starter at LSU from the day he set foot on campus. In all, he started 38 games, was a consensus All-American bug as a junior last year.
Greeny, I've known him since he was 18 years old. He's always been a left tackle. He was the left tackle at LSU, and he'll play left tackle in the NFL. I know there are concerns and questions about the arm length. He had that same arm length in the SEC where he lined up against the competitors week in and week out. You're talking about a guy who's a natural bender, elite athleticism. He has the balance to recover. If you beat him on the outside, he will turn and come back on the inside. His recovery is some of the best that you'll see at the left tackle position. Footwork is tremendous. Has the ability to mirror and stay in front of defenders. And from a power standpoint, has the power to stop and anchor all the speed rushing. But I think what New England needs to know what they're getting an alpha in the room, a leader. If you're Mike Vrabel and you're coming in there and you're bringing your character, your culture in there, Will Campbell will instill that. He will be an alpha in the offensive line room, and that's exactly what New England needs.
Mel, is he the best offensive lineman in this draft? There were quite a few tackles we'll hear tonight.
Armand Membo of Missouri has a right tackle. So you want a left tackle. Remember last year, J.C. Latham, left right tackle, moved to left tackle and struggled. Now he's back at right tackle. That's not automatic. So they want that blindside protector. They had to have it for Drake May. He's the franchise. Will Campbell, the arm length is an issue. He's an outlier. The outliers can be great. There's no question. Will Campbell's run blocking phenomenal. Pass protection though for Drake May, who will get the ball out. He'll protect Will a little bit as well in that regard. I'm keeping an eye on though a couple of things here now as the draft's unfolding. The Giants, right? Giants have Abdul Carter. They have a quarterback room right now of Wilson, Winston, and DeVito. Said the last month. Sounds strange, a law firm, quarterback room a little iffy, right? What do they do at quarterback moving forward? With Shador maybe dropping, we'll see where he goes. What does Cleveland do? They are a quarterback needy team, but you got Ashton Genty sitting there, right? They're looking for a defensive end opposite Myles Garrett. They want a wide receiver as well, and they also have that big need at the quarterback spot. And we have New Orleans sitting there at 9. I've said all along that's the perfect team because it's a dome stadium, Atlanta Dome, Carolina, Tampa Bay. So we have teams now on how are they going to maneuver now for quarterbacks. There's 3 teams, quarterback needy. How do they attack it?
I'll tell you what. I don't know what they're going to do, but I can tell you what right now Mike Vrabel's doing, and he's walking around in that draft room shaking hands. So I'll tell you this, they have gone to work reading this offseason and trying to make sure Drake May is taken care of. Okay, they get Morgan Moses, they plug him in the right tackle. Garrett Bradbury going to play center now. And now you got Will Campbell, who on that highlight right there, we didn't mention some of the things that he was doing on that highlight. But, we talk about his arm length being sub 33, but he's got hands like cinder blocks. And when you're talking, he uses those hands as well as anybody in this draft. Look, I think methodically New England is addressing all the things that all offseason we said they need to address. Will Campbell will be a decades-long left tackle bookend for them. This was a no-brainer pick in my estimation.
It was the expected pick. So the players that have been drafted thus far, for those of you who've not followed the process all through the last few months, they've been the players that we were expecting to hear called tonight. Obviously, the huge shocker was Jacksonville trading up to number 2, and so the Browns are now on the clock. They will make the next selection, having traded back at number 5. In the meantime, Verizon Business brings us back down to the stage, and Molly is there with Will Campbell. Molly.
Well, you're just the second ever LSU O-lineman to be picked in the first round. I can see that you're emotional here. How meaningful is it for you to represent this program in the state of Louisiana?
It means everything. They did so much for me and my family, and for me to be able to represent them the right way, I'll never be able to repay them for what they did for me.
I know you spent a lot of time with Patriots staff and head coach Mike Vrabel. What do you like about the culture that he's building there in New England?
That logo speaks for itself. But, Coach Vrabel is a guy who I want to play for. He's a football guy, no BS. And I've loved everything that everybody in that building's about since the first time I stepped in there. So it's a complete honor to be able to have this hat on right now.
Well, one thing's for sure, quarterback Drake May has to be happy about this selection. Congratulations, Will.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Greeny.
Well, you can hear the awe in his voice. What a wonderful moment. Reminder that this night is not just about the analysis, but it's about the opportunity for these young men. By the way, the older football fans in our audience will appreciate this. Mel, the Patriots have drafted a top 10 offensive lineman only once in the common draft era. It was John Hanna, who was 4th overall in 1973 and may very well be the greatest guard that ever played.
Yep, no doubt about it. They are hoping that obviously with Will Campbell, you think about what he can be at that left tackle spot. One of the more critical picks so far in this draft is Drake May is going to have to be that franchise quarterback they hope he can become.
All right, we're at number 5. Again, this is the Cleveland Browns. They traded back. Originally had the second pick, moved back here to 5, and here comes the commissioner to announce the selection.
With the 5th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Mason Graham, defensive tackle, Michigan.
So after all of the speculation about all of the surprises we may get outside of the trades, these have been the players we were expecting. Mason Graham is a 2-time All-American from Los Angeles. He was the defensive MVP of the Rose Bowl the year the Wolverines won the national title. Was a star wrestler in high school as well. Jim Harbaugh called him a gift from the football god when he brought him to Ann Arbor, and Mel Graham lived up to the hype.
Everybody said Graham was dropping. And there was even Walter Nolan could maybe go ahead of him, defensive tackle out of Ole Miss. But Mason Graham, 3rd on my big board. Cleveland made that deal, kind of threw it out of whack a little bit. A little bit of a curveball with Mason Graham, not on that one grade, but on the fact they have other neat areas. But defensive tackle is one of those. Mason Graham, heavyweight wrestling champion. And you can see that in terms of leverage. Low man wins in the NFL. The versatility, the violent, active hand, the reactability, diagnostic ability. Stats were not off the charts, but if you watched him, he was disruptive, Bug. He made an impact game in and game out. Consistency, the ability, I think, to impact the football game where quarterbacks hate it the most, up the gut.
When you play that position, Greeny, inside, you better have a couple of things. You better have a quick first step. You better use your hands well, and you better have great balance. He has all 3 of those things. He can make tackles from tackle to tackle and even outside the tackle. I love his motor. I love his disruptiveness and his ability to use his hands. You have to have strong hands to control the center, to control the guard, to get those guys off you. People think that nose tackles and 3 techniques can't make plays. He is a disruptor, a playmaker. Here's the thing I want to see. Can he continue to get better as a pass rusher? Can his pass rush arsenal continue to get better? Because right now, it's not up to par with what we've seen in the likes of Grady Jarrett or Aaron Donald, those impact, or Chris Jones, those impact 3 techniques. He's got to get better as a pass rusher.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I struggled with when evaluating him was, look, there's no question he's a great player. You talk to the people in Michigan, they love him. They love all the things that Boog just talked about, specifically his motor. They love him when he's on the move.
Yes.
When you're running games and stunts, and he's the looper. When he's a guy who you can kind of like get on some edges, get some angles. Look, he'll be working with one of the best pass rushers in the NFL, Myles Garrett, but can he produce rushing the passer?
Let's go to the stage, Verizon Business, and Molly McGrath. Take it, Molly.
Thank you, Greeny. Mason, you are a tone setter for Michigan's defense. What kind of attitude and toughness are you bringing to Cleveland?
I mean, just fierce competitor. I want to come in there and win, get to the top and then, win a Super Bowl. So that's, my one mission coming in, and that's what I'm going to do.
A Michigan man is going to the state of Ohio. How are you going to make amends with those fans after what you did to the Buckeyes the last 3 years?
I'm sure we'll get along pretty well coming here pretty soon.
All right, good luck. Thank you. Congrats.
Thank you.
Greeny.
That's exactly right. Heading into what would have been considered enemy territory previously, but now the new favorite son of the Cleveland Browns, Mason Graham, an outstanding player. So now the Vegas Raiders are on the clock, and what a fascinating decision they have ahead of them here. Early in this process, Mel, we were talking about Shedeur Sanders here. He has a long history with Tom Brady. That conversation has pretty much died away completely. That was part of the early discussion. That's not what we're expecting, at least here. They have Pete Carroll. You see him there in the draft room as the Raiders make their decision at number 6.
What about Geno Smith now, right? Pete Carroll are tied together. Pete made Geno great, right? Made an outstanding quarterback in this league. He still has probably 3 years left where he can play at a very solid level. So for Geno Smith to help him out, what does Pete Carroll want to do? Run the football. He had Marshawn Lynch. They drafted Rashad Penny. Didn't work out, but they still took him in round 1. You look at a guy like Ashton Jeanty, what he can mean to this football team. I've been 4th overall on the big board. My philosophy is not my ranking. On value, on ability, he's the 4th best player in this draft. He deserves to be a pick this high. Based on that, I think the Raiders would look at the running back Ashton Jeanty over Armand Membo, the offensive tackle from Missouri.
Yeah, look, this is a football team that didn't have a rusher go over 500 yards last year. You just can't have that in the NFL. So you would think that Pete Carroll, considering where he came from and what his philosophy is, he'd be sitting there going, how do we not take the guy?
Yeah.
It's a team that has a lot of holes, and so one might think that taking a running back is a bit of a luxury for a team with as many needs as this team has. We're going to find out right now. I see the commissioner making his way towards the microphone. Here come the Raiders at 6.
With the 6th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select Ashton Jeanty, running back, Boise State.
Well, we'll go over the numbers one more time. What a season he had. 2,600 rushing yards, 29 touchdowns. Unanimous All-American, won the Maxwell Award, the Doak Walker Award, and finished runner-up for the Heisman. Fascinating life story. His dad was a naval officer, so he played his first year of high school football in Naples, Italy, and was a quarterback. Ultimately wound up in Frisco, Texas, then to Boise for college, and now he is a Las Vegas Raider.
Spectacular all-around running back. He was a workhorse. He only had one game where he had 30-plus carries in 2023. This past year, he had 8 games of 30 or more carries. He can be that workhorse running back for Geno Smith and for that Raider offense. You know about contact balance, game-breaking ability, explosive, right? How about catching the football? He had 43 catches in 2023. Now, 750 career carries, it's a lot, right? Also, he's a little loose with the football. High and tight, right? He's got to learn that. 5 fumbles in 2023, 3 fumbles in 2024. That's 8 fumbles over the last couple of years. Penn State game, he had a fumble loss. Also had another fumble in that game. So in terms of a guy who can impact the game, running, catching, and guess what? He'll block. Is that last line of protection for Geno Smith. Ashton Jeanty will get the job done. He gets behind those blockers. Defenders, players can't even locate him. And then he's gone with the contact balance and the game-breaking speed. Hey, I'm against running backs in the first round, but on ability, like I said, 4th best player in the draft, and Pete Carroll wants to run the ball and take some of that pressure off of Geno Smith.
I love it. You finally come around to the running back after all these years.
I'll meet you halfway on the court.
I love it. Greeny, it's a few things as a running back you have to have in the National Football League. Can you make a guy miss in the hole? He can do that. From a contact balance standpoint, when you get hit, can you absorb the first hit and then continue on? He can do that. And then the third thing, can you take it to the house? He does all 3 of those things well. That's why he'll be a successful NFL running back.
Greeny, I had the privilege of seeing this young man up close and personal at the Fiesta Bowl this year. And I said when we were preparing for that game, this is Emmitt Smith. This is Emmitt Smith with home run breakaway speed. The vision and the elusiveness. He's built like a bodybuilder, like a power lifter, but he's got the jump cut ability to get that ball out on the perimeter. And then you just see the lower body power as he's weaving his way through traffic with like that next level vision. He's going to rip off plus 20, 30, 40-yard runs on the regular. Emmitt Smith, he did this on the regular at the NFL level. What was Emmitt's superpower? It was the vision, it was the lower body balance, the ability to see things that other people simply couldn't see. And he didn't have the kind of speed, the kind of breakaway speed that Ashton Jeanty has. And when you talk about contact balance and burst and the ability to get yardage after initial contact, nobody does it better than this guy. Nobody. And then look at him turn on the jets. It's easy. It's easy, smooth acceleration. And I'm telling you, when you get up on him close, you will think, how does this guy have that kind of stride like and be able to run like that? Emmitt Smith, same way. If you didn't get a good hit on him, if you didn't wrap him up, he was going to the house on you. Now here on this run in particular, he's able to take it the distance. Hey, look, I don't think this is a wild comparison by any means. This is a great player, the Vegas Raiders, this guy.
It's as good a comparison as you could ever possibly ask for. Verizon Business. Back to the stage, Molly.
Thanks, Greeny. Ashton, you told me that at 10 years old, you knew you were born to play this game. Standing up here now, an NFL running back, top 6 pick. What would you say to your 10-year-old self?
Man, just continue to trust in God and your abilities and stay disciplined. All your goals and dreams are accomplishable.
Raiders' new head coach Pete Carroll loves to build a team around running the football. He used to coach one of your favorites in Marshawn Lynch. How will you bring beast mode to Vegas?
Yeah, I think just that same energy, that attitude he comes with, that nobody can tackle them on the football field.
All right, congratulations. The highest selection ever for a Boise State player.
Thank you so much.
Greeny.
Molly, the Raiders averaged 3.6 yards per rush last year, last in the NFL. Look at the celebration. Lone Star High School, Texas. Congratulations. You have produced a first-round pick in the NFL draft. We'll be right back.
Being Courtyard's official fan ambassador has opened a new world for me. Now I get to hang out with NFL fans all season long.
Butterfly.
Wait, what?
Yeah. See you on game day.
Trains. Trains that use the power of Dell AI and Intel, clearing the way so you arrive exactly where you belong.
If it's war, I want to win. This is do or die.
Make it worth it. Endor Season 2. New episodes Tuesdays. Only on Disney+.
At AT&T, we confidently guarantee our network.
Oh, no.
What we can't guarantee, you and your teammates being too connected.
What up, Chet?
Double oh no.
I texted you guys I was gonna wear.
I wore that last
I
week.
got
You a
dressed
picture.
first this morning. I thought you said you were gonna wear.
A connection means something. That's why with AT&T, we'll proactively make it right with a credit for a full day of service if there is a network interruption. That's the AT&T guarantee.
Ego, the #1 rated brand in cordless outdoor power. Experience our most powerful blower that exceeds the power of gas. The industry's most powerful cordless pressure washer and a string trimmer so smart it loads the line with the push of a button. Find an Ego retailer near you.
You know, Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company. They're one of America's largest financial services companies, too. Just like I'm so much more than quarterback Peyton Manning. I'm also debating Manning. And honestly, this might be my best sport.
I would argue that it's not.
I think it might be.
No, it's not.
Is to.
It's not.
Is to.
It's not.
Is to times infinity, no takebacks.
You can't do no takebacks.
That's debatable. For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side.
Versace, bright crystal. At Macy's, the fragrance destination.
Welcome back to the 2025 NFL Draft, presented by Courtyard by Marriott.
Back in Green Bay, where these teams have been very economical with their use of time, the picks have been coming in quickly. The New York Jets pick is in with their new brain trust, their new head coach, Aaron Glenn. A lot of needs for this team. Let's see which direction they go. The 7th pick of the draft is in, and here comes the commissioner to make the announcement.
With the 7th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select Armand Membou, Missouri, tackle.
Right tackle. He is from just outside Kansas City. Became a starter midway through his freshman year, so he started 30 games at right tackle for the Tigers. And Mel, his performance at the Combine is what really vaulted him up this process.
No question, he proved he could be a right tackle, not a guard. Now, I think it's a tough call for the Jets because Tyler Warren would have made a lot of sense, tight end out of Penn State. But I think Armand Membou's plug-and-play right tackle, they have to feel he will be a Pro Bowl right tackle. 29 starts over the last 3 years, 25 starts the last 2 years at right tackle. Powerful hand. Get to the second level as a run blocker could improve in that area. The kick out, the footwork overall, powerful punch, the way anchored, the hand placement was excellent. And like I said, once he showed he had the length and he had the ability physically, athletically to be a right tackle, not have to kick inside the guard. That's what solidified Armand Membou as a top 10 pick, Lou.
Yeah, I mean, he's a plug-and-play guy, right? Last year's first-round pick, Ola Fascino, stays at left tackle now. Membou just moves out the right tackle, and they just slot him right in there. They're really solid on the interior already. This young man, I'll tell you what, he dominated people this year. Yeah. Some of this, it was hard to find things not to like about a guy as big as he is, 330 plus, sub 5 seconds in the 40. Incredible prospect.
He's the 4th offensive lineman the Jets have drafted in the first round since 2020, which is the most of any team in the NFL. And over the years, the reactions of the fans of the New York Jets to their picks have become the stuff of draft day legend.
The Jets' second-round selection, Marion Barber.
Johnny Mitchell, tight end, Nebraska. And the fans are letting it know which way they want to go. Kyle Brady. Mark Sanchez, quarterback, USC.
Sam Darnold. Zach Wilson, quarterback, BYU. The New York Jets select Armand Membou, Missouri.